Okay. So 2 flexors, 2 extensors, 2 abductors, but the abductor kind of goes along with the extensors. So flexor pollicis longus, extrinsic starts at the anterior radius, comes down to go all the way to the distal phalanx, versus the flexor pollicis brevis is a thenar eminence muscle that just goes to the proximal phalanx. Okay? So flexor pollicis longus here to here. Flexor pollicis brevis, this to here.
So it starts
Okay.
shorter.
Yeah. So it starts shorter, ends shorter. Longus starts longer, ends longer. Flexion is this. So the brevis flexes the MP, the longus flexes the MP and the IP. So if I just want the brevis, I'm going to stabilize here, stabilize the IP. I want you to bring your thumb across your hand. Okay, and hold that. And I'm resisting at the proximal. I did a very good job. That's why I'm going to hold this one in extension. But I'm resisting with my thumb, resisting the MP into extension. Okay, so I'm pushing her that way.
And you said you kept this one straight?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when I picked up my hand to point,
Mhm.
it flexed. But if I hold it there, it's kind of like sandwiching this one. Same
Okay.
idea. I'm going to sandwich that, let her flex the MP for the brevis, and then have her hold that as I resist into extension.
So that's a 5.
That's flexor pollicis. Yeah, that's 5. That's flexor pollicis brevis versus flexor pollicis longus is the MP and the IP. So I can do it one of 2 ways. I can stabilize the CMC and let her flex both, or I can stabilize the MP and let her flex just the IP. That's longest.
Okay.
Okay? The extensors, anatomical snuff box, longus, thank you. Longus, brevis, abductor pollicis, brevis, longus, sorry, longus, abductor pollicis longus. Extensor pollicis longus goes to the distal phalanx. Extensor pollicis brevis goes to the proximal phalanx. So it's the same deal, just into extension. So you switch their hand to here, sandwich the IP, have her extend her MP for the extensor pollicis brevis. So you're just going to pull your thumb up and hold that. And I'm going to push down. Versus the longus, I'm going to hold here, pull your thumb up. I'm going to push down. Longus. Abductor, going this way. I've seen abductor done both ways. I've seen abductor done this way and abductor done this way. So it's kind of up to you guys what you feel comfortable with, because there's not a gravity minimized against gravity position. So I would say this is one that has a slight variation on the position. Per the paper, it's this way. And then she's just going to take her thumb out like this. Now keep in mind the abductor pollicis longus is the one that does the CMC. The abductor pollicis brevis, the intrinsic, does the MP.
So this is the one that's opposite.
It's the backwards one,
Okay.
yeah. Which I almost caught myself when I said it the first time. So the abductor pollicis longus is the longest because it's an extrinsic. It's the other part of the anatomical snuff box, but it inserts on the metacarpal, so it abducts the CMC, versus the abductor pollicis brevis is the intrinsic thenar muscle that inserts on the proximal phalanx and abducts the MP. So I'm going to hold her hand like this, and then just relax your thumb. And I want you to take your thumb out like that. If I resist at the metacarpal, it's the longest. If I resist at the proximal phalanx, it's the brevis.
Does your stabilization change if you go to brevis, like you hold it right there, closer to the?
Not so much. If I feel like I'm getting a little bit of longus, but where it starts, it's picky. So I would say if I need to stabilize not to get flexion and extension, I might do that with the metacarpal just to get the MP, but it's not that imperative. I'm more just stabilizing the rest of the hand, and then longus at the metacarpal, brevis at the. I'd probably stabilize her MP because she's got weird MPs going on there. I'd probably stabilize here so she doesn't do that hyperflexion thing,
Okay.
and then have her hold that. Okay. So extensor pollicis longus, extensor pollicis, so extensor pollicis longus, extensor pollicis brevis, abductor pollicis longus, abductor pollicis brevis. This one. Okay, and then the flexor, flexor pollicis longus to here, flexor pollicis brevis to here. Okay? So it's just where you're changing your resistance based on whether it's flexing the MP, the IP, or the CMC, where its movement is. Okay? Good?